I'm Brandy Marsky. This is day 28 of the 100 Day Project. And hola, Beth. I am fresh off a coaching call with my coach and just got some really beautiful ideas about my work and sharing it. And it all came from a moment of clarity that I worked through by journaling. And I feel like journaling is one of those not really talked about tools that is one, so accessible, two, meaning you can do it anywhere at any time. All you need is a pen and something to write on, a pencil, even lipstick. You can even do it on your phone, voice app. It's so accessible and it has so much transformative power. And it's the tool that I use all the time to help me get really clear on me, on what I want, what my what I want to say, what I want to create, what I want to be, what I want to do. It's the way that I kind of like scratch off and peel off all the layers of outside noise and really get to the heart and heat of myself. And I had a really beautiful session this morning. It was a mix between journaling and pulling cards and communing with the divine. And when I read this morning, I do, my morning ritual and the reading. It's Mark Nepo's Book of Awakening and Brianna Wies's The Pivot Year. And now I've introduced the daily writing inspiration one, which I haven't started yet, but I'm going to start today or maybe Sunday. Maybe I'll start tomorrow. But today there was such a beautiful passage in Nepo's and the way that he framed up what I do every morning, right? Every morning it's a ritual. It's the same thing. I grab my cup of tea, I bring out all my journals. I bring out my tarot cards. I bring out this book and the other book, and I start just by journaling and writing down all the feelings. I do a gratitude list in my journal, and then I really just follow my light rabbit into where I want to go next. And it's about an hour, sometimes 2 hours, depending upon the flow. Sometimes it's only 30 minutes. It really ranges, and I allow myself space, right? I wake up early enough to allow myself space of at least 2 hours, because I know that sometimes this morning grounding and feeling into and tapping into who I am can take some time, and I don't want to rush it. We don't want to rush ourselves. We have the whole world outside of us that's going to rush us and want us to be at a certain place at a certain time and at a deadline. When you are spending time with yourself, the last thing that you want to do is put that same outside pressure on yourself. You really want to gift yourself the space that you need to feel into yourself. But then also while acknowledging, we have to go to work. Like shit needs to get done. But still, if you're going to give yourself space, give yourself that space, right? Even if it's only 5 minutes, be like, I'm going to give myself the most luxurious 5 minutes of this whole entire day. Bring that intention to it and then make it so. So I was in the middle of my journaling and clarification and everything, and I picked up my book and I read it, and he had the most beautiful framing of what it is I do every day and what most of us do every day if we do or have like a morning or AM or wake up ritual. He calls it Sabbath time. And he talks about trying to open the hours with softness and silence, that our heart constricts and dilates like an eye. And when constricted, there is no rest. And so Sabbath time is what he's calling it, becomes essential as a practice that dilates everything. These private moments of rest restore and loosen the knots of the world by slowing down the heart. And I would add, it slows down time, right? So when I'm there in the morning and I'm spending time with myself and my journal and my cards and really kind of listening to what I have to say, I'm not only slowing down like the pace of the morning or the heart, like he says, I'm slowing down time to allow for space to breathe, space to get to know myself, space to really live. And I was like, okay, this word Sabbath, right? I know what it means, but I was like, you know what? Let me just Google it and look at a dictionary and really see what it is. And it's a time of removing oneself from work. Sabbath is also considered like a religious term. Christians do it on Sundays. Seventh Day Adventists take their Sabbath on Saturdays. Jewish folks, it's Friday evening through Saturday evening, and so it's built into a spiritual practice. But the other definition that I found fascinating was that, and I have to find the etymology of it and the origin of it, but the other definition that the Oxford Dictionary had was that it is a time, it was believed to be a time at midnight where witches would gather with the devil. And I was like, what? And I was like, but also, like, what an interesting thing. Like, so devil aside, Christian construct, let's put that aside. It's a gathering in a time of witches to reconnect with spirit, reconnect with their soul, reconnect to their spirituality, reconnect to their dreams and their desires. And I love this idea of creating a sacred space around what I do in the morning and really having this sacred container of like using it as a Sabbath, right? It's my Sabbath time of the day, really ignited something in me that um, flowed into a really beautiful space of um, freedom and release, which is really interesting because typically religion, and it's not even a religious word, but words that are related to organized religion have like a particular trigger for me because I was born and raised Roman Catholic. I went to parochial school until I was in sixth grade, church every Monday and Wednesday, confession every Friday, like very, very strict. Religion was a subject. The sisters would walk around and like with rulers. It's all true. Um, but it's also where I learned my love for rituals. That's where I learned like my love of frankincense and the ritual of incense and the ritualization of a morning practice, right? And I just really love the term, and it unlocks something in me that furthered my creativity. And the whole point of all of that, and the invitation for you are finding those things that unlock your creativity and like portals within yourself, right? Our heart is like a door within a door within a door. It's like the Russian little dolls that you keep pulling and like smaller dolls, they just keep coming out. It's like a never ending one of those. And our soul is the same way. And it's like finding the language, the word, sometimes it's a feeling, sometimes it's a sensation, sometimes it's a scent, finding those sensual, as in senses things that open up another layer to our creativity or our thinking or our art project. Those are the moments that as artists and writers and creatives and word witches, we should be like on a scavenger hunt for, because those are the things that are going to help you deepen further into yourself and then thus further into what it is you came here to do and what it is you really, really, really want to be. When I strip everything down, when I strip the wild dream, from the vision and the pop and circumstance and the things that I really, really like want, like buying back my land, the amount of money that I need to do it. When I strip away like all of that and I go into and I was in Sabbath time when I did it, like what really clearly came through was that I want to be a great literary author, poet, and witch. And so what I need to do is I need to trust the art, trust my writing, trust my medicine and magic, and trust the connections that I'm making to help and do all those other things, right? Like that how of how um, the money will come in and the agent and all of that. Like, I'm still going to have to do the work. Yes. And so it is. Thank you. I'm still going to have to do the work. I still have to root it in the tangible real world realm. And it still has to be brushed against the edges of everything that's happening in the world and all the things. But when I strip it down to its essence, it is this thing, and learning to trust that the art itself will bring me those other things that I really, really want. And that has been a lesson for me of a lifetime. It's a lesson for all of us in a lifetime, right? Trusting the thing, especially if we work for ourselves, it's trusting our business, trusting our words, trusting our creativity, trusting our art to bring in the funds that we need to not just survive, but to thrive and to build better worlds for ourselves and the 7 generations to come. So, all of that came from reading a single word that then flipped the script on how I thought about something, my perspective, how I approached it. And those are the things we're looking for. Those are the nuggets throughout our lives and our conversations and what we read that we're looking for. Those things that within reading, sensing, feeling them, something in us shifts, and we see the world in a whole new way, and we see what we do in a whole new way, and that unlocks a door, which then unlocks another door, which then unlocks another door, and we just keep going into a spiral of ourselves. And this is how we live an authentic wild dream life, is that we keep going deeper into the things that we love and trusting that whatever we find out there is going to be enough to hold us. So the invitation today is look for those moments in your reading and when you're out in the world about those things that trigger something in you to go deeper or expand your mind or to perceive things in a new way. So I hope that that was somewhat helpful. I love y'all so, so much. And I will see you tomorrow in Lakesh. Bye.